Hello, everybody. Welcome to your 1-7 lesson on writing proofs. Awesome. We get to dig into some proofs. You guys are going to love it. All right, so our learning target, we're going to be able to use deductive reasoning to prove theorems. We'll use deductive reasoning to prove geometric theorems about lines and angles. We'll justify statements of a proof with definitions, postulates, theorems, and properties. We're going to write a 2-column proof, we'll write a paragraph proof, and we're going to prove that vertical lines are congruent. All very exciting. Okay, we've got some vocabulary to put into our notes. First, what actually is a proof? So a proof is a convincing argument that uses deductive reasoning. So you'll want to pause right in as we go along here because I'm going to take a moment's pause and keep going, but not enough time for you to write it down, I'm assuming. A theorem is a conjecture that is proven. Complementary angles are angles whose sum is 90 degrees. They form a right angle. So let me just give you a quick little diagram of what that's going to look like. If you have two angles, let's say angle 1 and angle 2, if angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to 90 degrees, then the angles are complementary. When they're complementary, we know that we will have a right angle right there. All right, supplementary angles, angles whose sum is 180 degrees, and they will form a straight angle. So a straight angle is when you have rays going in opposite directions. Oops, pretend that's connected. And then another angle here. So let's say here's angle 1, here's angle 2. Anytime you have rays in opposite directions and it's forming a straight line, you're going to have a straight angle. These two angles, angle 1 plus angle 2, will add up to 180 degrees. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. All right, the transitive property. So you need to be given some information to use the transitive property. So just an example with angles. If angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and we know that angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. So what we notice is angle 2 is congruent to 1, and angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. So we can conclude then that angle 1 will be congruent to angle 2. Let's go ahead and add in that this also applies to segments. All right, our last property is the vertical angles theorem. Vertical angles are congruent. So what are vertical angles? If you have two lines or segments that intersect, you have 4 angles that are formed. 1, 2 across from each other, 3, 4 across from each other. So we know then that angle 1 will be congruent to angle 2, and angle 3 will be congruent to angle 4. So anytime you see that you have intersecting lines, you get a pair of vertical angles, and the vertical angle theorem tells us that they will be congruent.